Did you know that an estimated 1 in 25 people could be considered sociopaths? That means on a crowded bus or in a full classroom, there might be someone with no conscience sitting nearby. It's a startling thought. Sociopaths live among us, often hiding in plain sight. They can be our colleagues, neighbors, even friends or family members, all while lacking the basic empathy that bonds human beings. Hello, brainiacs, and welcome to Brainwaves. What is sociopathy? In simple terms, a sociopath is someone who has antisocial personality disorder, a mental health condition characterized by a consistent disregard for rules, social norms, and the rights of others. Importantly, sociopath isn't an official clinical diagnosis. It's a layperson term. Psychologists typically diagnose such individuals with antisocial personality disorder, ASPD, which is the clinical label for this pattern of behavior. Both sociopath and psychopath are often used to describe ASPD. There's a lot of overlap between the terms. Psychopathy is a personality disorder characterized by persistent antisocial behavior, impaired empathy, and a lack of remorse or guilt. It is believed to have genetic influences, unlike sociopathy, which is often linked to environmental factors. For our purposes, we'll use sociopath to keep things simple. Sociopathy equals no empathy, plus no remorse, plus no regard for rules. Let's clarify. Not every jerk or lawbreaker is a sociopath. So that rude co-worker or ex who cheated on you isn't automatically a sociopath, unless they show many of the signs we're about to discuss. But don't shed a tear for them just yet, because they're not shedding any for you. Sociopathy in everyday life. Wolves in sheep's clothing. When you hear sociopath, you might picture a serial killer or a fictional villain. They're like wolves in sheep's clothing, blending into the flock. Some researchers have cheekily noted that while a small percentage of the general population are psychopaths, the percentage among CEOs might be higher. One article even pointed out that some psychopaths make for great businessmen. Not exactly a compliment, but a nod to the fact that being cold and calculating can sometimes lead to success in cutthroat industries. How did they live with themselves? Well, if they were sociopathic, that's how. Your neighbor might have a shed full of stolen goods, and you'd never know until the police knock one day. Here are some key red flags and traits. Chronic lying and deception. Sociopaths lie as a habit. Big lies, small lies. If it serves them, they'll say it. They often lie without any sign of guilt or anxiety. Lack of empathy and remorse. This is the core trait. A sociopath doesn't feel empathy. They struggle to put themselves in others' shoes emotionally. Superficial charm. As mentioned, many sociopaths turn on the charm like flipping a switch. They can be witty, flattering, and charismatic, especially when they want something from you. A shocking true story. The sociopath next door. One infamous case that has been widely reported is the story of John Meehan, better known by the nickname Dirty John. His story is so startling that it became the subject of a popular podcast and a TV series. John Meehan was, on the surface, a handsome, charming man. In 2014, he met Debra Newell, a successful interior designer from California, via a dating site. Debra was accomplished, smart, and had a loving family. She wasn't someone you'd think could easily be duped. But John was extremely persuasive. He presented himself as the perfect gentleman. He claimed to be a doctor who had worked with Doctors Without Borders, a compassionate hero of sorts. He was attentive and romantic, sweeping Debra off her feet at lightning speed. Within 5 weeks of meeting, he convinced her to move in with him to a plush home and even got her to marry him in secret. That's red flag number 1 in hindsight. The relationship moved extremely fast, and John pushed for big commitments quickly. Debra's family began noticing odd things about John. He always had an excuse for why he was wearing scrubs, supposedly coming from the hospital, but something didn't add up. He told elaborate stories that didn't quite make sense. As time went on, John's mask started slipping. He became increasingly controlling. For example, he tried to isolate Debra from her family, causing rifts between her and her daughters by painting the daughters as ungrateful or meddling. Classic sociopath move: isolate the victim to better control them. Debra saw flashes of anger that were disproportionate. Eventually, through a combination of her family's investigations and John's own mistakes, the horrifying truth emerged. John Meehan was not a doctor at all. He was actually a former nurse anesthetist who had lost his license due to drug theft and misconduct. He had a long history of conning women across several states. He had been in and out of jail for various offenses. By the time he met Debra, he was essentially a career swindler, a full-blown sociopath who used romance as a weapon to defraud women. Once she realized who John really was, she left him. But John didn't take kindly to losing control. He resorted to stalking and threats, a very dangerous phase. In the end, in a violent confrontation, John attacked Debra's daughter, and in a struggle, the daughter managed to defend herself, and John was killed. The consequences of John's behavior were severe. Emotional trauma for Debra and her family, financial losses, and ultimately a violent encounter. It's frightening to think how long he got away with it. Years. What can we learn from Dirty John? Firstly, the importance of listening to red flags. Debra later admitted that there were early signs she ignored, like inconsistencies in his stories and the fact that he was pushing for commitment so fast. Love or lust can cloud judgment, and sociopaths know how to exploit that. Secondly, it shows that anyone can fall victim. It's not about intelligence. Debra was intelligent. But sociopaths are that good at what they do. Thirdly, it highlights the danger of isolation. Had Debra's family not been so persistent in investigating John, who knows how much worse the outcome could have been. Let's recap the key points we've covered. 1. Sociopathy defined. A sociopath, person with ASPD, is someone with no regard for others' rights or feelings. 2. The sociopath's mindset. Sociopaths view life as a game and other people as pawns or tools. 3. Sociopathy seems to develop from a mix of genetic factors, roughly 50% heritable risk, and environmental factors like childhood abuse or neglect. Most sociopaths show signs at a young age indicating early developmental roots. As Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. If you see the hallmark signs of a sociopath, take them seriously. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and get notified. Have you ever encountered someone you suspect was a sociopath? Feel free to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. And check out our videos on narcissism and brainwashing right here on this screen. Stay safe, stay aware, and we'll see you in the next one.